Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call this work session meeting of the Mayor and Council to order. At this time, I'd ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silent prayer and our reflection. Please salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please note the fire exit behind you into the main hallway. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to advance notice of and attend any meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this act, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Milford have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Borough Hall. Notices have been sent to the Record and the Ridgewood News. The mission of this governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy that will safeguard the infrastructure, provide fair, honest, courteous, and professional services, establish a sense of trust and accomplishment between all residents, and through research and prudent planning, seek to minimize risk while improving our services. We are sensitive to the needs and satisfaction of our taxpayers, while realizing that this governing body cannot be all things to all people within the revenue constraints imposed by state mandates, economic conditions, and prevailing attitudes about taxation. At this time, I would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilwoman Sanhusen.
Here.
Councilman Zellner.
Here.
Council President Duffy.
Here.
Councilman Grotzky.
Here.
Councilman Seymour.
Here.
Councilwoman Grant.
Here.
Mayor Patrino.
Here. Before we start tonight, I'm going to ask for a motion to add an appointment. So I would like a motion to add Teresa Scangala to the Green Team.
I make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that will be the second appointment tonight. Okay. Proclamation. That's the Mayor's proclamation for Black History Month. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas, the history of Black History Month goes back to 1915 and was first celebrated in 1926. And whereas in 1976, President Gerald Ford issued the first African American History Month proclamation. And whereas National Black History Month serves as both a celebration and as a powerful reminder that Black's history in American history and Black culture is American culture. And whereas understanding Black history is important to understanding our nation. And whereas it is appropriate to acknowledge and celebrate the immeasurable contribution of Black Americans, honor the legacies and achievements of the generations past, recognize past injustice, and confront injustice that still festers today. And whereas we are committed to advancing equity and racial justice. And whereas an African American burying ground was first discovered in Milford and is believed to date back to well before 1883. And whereas we support the recognition and acknowledgement of the African American burial ground which enslaved people were buried. And whereas the Borough of New Milford wishes to honor the history and contributions of African Americans in our community, our state, and our nation. Now therefore I, Mayor Michael Petrino, Mayor of the Borough of New Milford, proclaim February 2025 to be Black History Month and encourage all residents and businesses to celebrate our diverse heritage and culture and continue our efforts to create a world that is more just and more peaceful. Thank you. Making a motion to appoint Betsy Veron to Planning Board Alternate 2.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Making a motion to appoint Teresa Scalanga to the Green Team.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much, Betsy and Teresa, and thank you for your service to the borough. Under unfinished business, may I get a motion for the approval of the minutes from the January 27, 2025 closed and public session meetings.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain with respect to the closed meeting, not the open.
We can do that later.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a few ordinances up for adoption tonight. First one being ordinance 2025:01. And when the clerk has the opportunity, I will ask you to please read the ordinance.
Capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $82,232 for the undertaking of the Hardcastle Pond Improvement Project in, by, and for the Borough of New Milford in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from the open space trust fund of the borough.
Okay, the purpose of this ordinance is to appropriate funds from the Bergen County Open Space Grant and the Borough of New Milford Open Space Trust Fund to undertake an improvement project at Hardcastle Pond, which will include repaving, park pathways, installation of new benches and trash receptacles, and planting trees. May I get a motion to open to a public for a public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any questions or comments regarding this ordinance, now is the opportunity. Seeing that no member of the public wishes to come forward, I will ask for a motion to close the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to adopt this ordinance on its final reading?
Motion.
Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Sandhuser.
Yes.
Councilman Zada.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray.
Yes.
Thank you. Second one up for tonight is 2025:02, and the clerk has the opportunity. I'm asking you to please read the ordinance.
Bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of ADA accessible restroom improvements at the municipal building in by and for the Borough of New Milford in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $220,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate a federal grant to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
The purpose of this ordinance is to appropriate a Bergen County Community Development Grant and authorize a bond for ADA accessible restroom improvements at the Borough Hall. May I get a motion to open to the public for a public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any questions or comments regarding this ordinance, now is the opportunity. Seeing that no member of the public wishes to come forward at this time, I would ask for a motion to close the vote.
Motion.
Second.
May I get a motion to adopt this ordinance on its final reading?
So moved. Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Sandhuser.
Yes.
Councilman Zada.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray.
Yes.
(2025:03).
An ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of New Milford entitled Administration, thereby amending subsection 2-19.1 entitled Composition of the New Milford Police Department.
The purpose of this ordinance is to amend the composition of the New Milford Police Department to allow for up to 7 sergeants. May I get a motion to open to the public for a public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any questions or comments regarding this ordinance, now is the opportunity. Seeing that no member of the public wishes to come forward at this time, I'll ask for a motion to close the vote.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to adopt this ordinance on its final reading?
Motion.
Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Sandhuser.
Yes.
Councilman Zada.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray.
Yes.
(2025:04).
An ordinance to amend Chapter 19 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of New Milford entitled Parks and Recreation, Section 19-3, fees.
The purpose of this ordinance is to modify the fees for certain recreational programs and fees for referees and umpires, to codify fees for coordinators, site supervisors, and counselors. May I get a motion to open to the public for a public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any questions or comments regarding this ordinance, now is the opportunity. Seeing that no member of the public wishes to come forward at this time, I'll ask for a motion to close the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to adopt this ordinance on its final reading?
Motion.
Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Sandhuser.
Yes.
Councilman Zada.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graham.
Yes.
Final one up for adoption tonight is 2025:05.
Yes. An ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Borough of New Milford entitled Salary, adopted as Ordinance 9101 and amended annually by ordinance up to and including Ordinance 2024-06.
The purpose of this ordinance is to establish salary ranges for all full-time and part-time positions. May I get a motion to open to the public for a public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any questions or comments regarding this ordinance, now is the opportunity. Seeing that no member of the public wishes to come forward at this time, I ask for a motion to close the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to adopt this ordinance on its final reading?
So moved. Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Samuelson.
Yes.
Councilman Zoller.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graham.
Yes.
Okay, that takes care of adoptions. Let's move on to introductions. Whenever you're ready. 2025:06.
Capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $228,060 for the improvement of various roads in, by, and for the Borough of New Milford in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a state grant.
Okay, so that means the purpose of this ordinance is to appropriate funds from the New Jersey Department of Transportation grant to undertake a road improvement project on Roslyn Avenue, from the Dumont border to the cul-de-sac Monroe Avenue, from Lincoln Place to Roslyn Avenue, and Marion Avenue from Florence Street to Madison Avenue. Said improvements shall include road reconstruction and curb and drainage improvements where necessary. May I get a motion to introduce this ordinance on its first reading?
Motion.
Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Samuelson.
Yes.
Councilman Zoller.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graham.
Yes.
The public hearing on this ordinance will be at our February 24th meeting. When you hear all the streets, you try to put it in your head where everything...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Second one up for introduction tonight is 2025:07.
Capital ordinance to amend in its entirety the capital ordinance number 2024-26, entitled Capital Ordinance of the Borough of New Milford in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing the undertaking of grant management phase of the FEMA Home Elevation Project in, by, and for the borough, appropriating therefore the sum of $199,127.61, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a federal grant, which was adopted on September 9th, 2024.
Okay, so I wasn't here for that, so we're amending this because?
Because when we originally adopted the ordinance, it said that the money was all going to be raised from the grant, when in fact, a majority of it is going to be raised from the grant, but a small portion is going to come from the homeowners, and so we're correcting that.
Okay. I read that, but I just wanted that to clarify. Thank you.
Well, that was basically the summary, so... May I get a motion to introduce this ordinance on its first reading?
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Samuelson.
Yes.
Councilman Zoller.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graham.
Yes.
Public hearing on this ordinance will also be at our February 24th meeting. Okay, final one up for introduction tonight is 2025:08. And when the clerk has the opportunity, I'd ask you to please read the ordinance.
Capital ordinance of the Borough of New Milford in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing the undertaking of the construction phase of the FEMA Home Elevation Project in, by, and for the borough, appropriating therefore the sum of $3,982,552.28, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a federal grant and payments by certain affected property owners.
It's a big number, right? Here's the summary. The purpose of this ordinance is to appropriate the sum of $3,982,552.28, of which $3,597,439.47 is to be raised from the FEMA Flood Mitigation Assistance Grant, and $385,112.81, which will be received from certain affected property owners for the purpose of the elevation of certain residential homes. Make a motion to introduce this ordinance on its...
Question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So how is that 385 raised? I mean,
The homeowners are, if they enter into a contract to move forward, they're obligated to pay for the elevation out of pocket, and they're going to get reimbursed. Some homeowners qualify for 100% reimbursement, some qualify for 90% reimbursement, and some qualify for 75% reimbursement.
and the qualifications, how does that stand out? How do you,
That's
we don't know?
That's determined by the state, and it has to do with their flood claims in the past.
Repetitive flood loss.
Okay.
And how many homes does this reflect?
15.
Is it state or is it federal? Is it FEMA?
It's federal.
Right.
It's a federal grant administered through New Jersey OEM. We had to bring everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, may I get a motion to introduce this ordinance on its first reading?
Motion.
Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilwoman Sandersy.
Yes.
Councilman Zahner.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray.
Yes.
The public hearing on this ordinance will be at our February 24th meeting. This is going to be a long process, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see the final product.
Yeah.
We're approaching the completion of year 2 in this process already.
Yeah. It feels even longer, actually.
That's more than 200 grand a house, right? 15 houses times 3.5 million, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. So we'll flood payouts, so that's how we're doing this.
Right.
Okay, item number 1 tonight is Planning Board Recommendations Administrator.
Okay. I just listed myself, although it wasn't my idea to necessarily put it on the agenda. The planning board sent recommendations to the mayor and council at the end of last year, I believe, and we talked about that we would discuss them at our first work session of the year. So there were 3 recommendations that the board made. I forwarded that information to everybody, along with information about the existing ordinance. The first one was they want to repeal the provision for 30-foot front yard setbacks, the provision that a minimum of 30-foot setback be provided in all instances, which removes the calculation based on the average. Right now it says it's the average of the people, I think, within 200 feet of it. Yeah, 200 feet of either side of the lot line, and they wanted to make it 30 feet regardless. Want me to just go through all 3 of them, or do you want to?
You want to take them one at a time? Anyone have any questions about that one?
Just say it again.
So right now,
Please.
our
Thank
ordinance says, if you're putting up something new,
Right.
the front yard setback has to be either 30 feet or the average of the people on 200 feet of either side of you.
Yeah.
So there are some streets where the houses are much closer.
Mm-hmm.
So you would not have a 30-foot setback if you went by the formula. And the planning board is suggesting that it should always be the 30-foot setback.
Okay.
Okay. Item number 2.
They're recommending section 20.14B number 2 be amended to permit a fence in the side yard to be a maximum of 6 feet in height, where the fence in the side yard is currently permissible at a maximum of 4 feet in height.
This is side yard.
Would this wouldn't have any effect on driver visibility?
Unless you're driving through people's backyards.
No, well, like
Side
sometimes
yard
side yards
ends at the front
and
of the
the
house.
front of,
Just joking.
I know, but there are some side yards that,
The side yard
Corners.
is at the
No, that's
front
a
of the
site
house.
triangle issue, which is a separate ordinance.
oh,
And
okay.
you can't obstruct the site triangles on the corners.
Okay, that was my question.
Or if you drive through backyards. You can't do it.
I'm personally not a fan, but with that said, I've been enlightened by some members that they believe it's called for.
Board recommends the standards set forth in subsection 18-4.6, streets and sidewalks, setting forth the requirements for maximum driveway widths, be incorporated into a new subsection, 3028-1G4, and further be amended to include a specific prohibition against permitting more than one curb cut per individual lot. So right now, we have Chapter 18 covers the construction of driveways, and that's in only in certain districts, I think is the question, and the other ordinance deals with off-street parking, and they want to add a section, let's see, they want to add it to 3028-1G. Which says the following standard shall apply to 1 and 2 family dwellings, and they want to include that as an additional. They
want it in both ordinances.
Right. Yes.
So basically, it clarifies it and makes the enforcement of it stronger.
Yes.
Does this, what about circular driveways, like if there's, so this,
They're
there's
not allowed
no,
circular driveway.
There are a couple
There are
that were
separate
covered in, but can't have them.
Usually the only place that they let them is like on county roads, because there's a ingress and egress issue because they're so busy.
Yeah,
That for
safety.
safety purposes, they have to, like, other than that, it's very rare.
There's one on Salem, I think.
I'm not sure.
There are a couple.
You can go to the board and try to get a variance for it, depending on the town, and then how the board looks at it, and they may grant it if you're on like a dead end cul-de-sac, it's not.
It was sort of looked at, but that was exactly what planning board's thoughts was, do it on an individual basis.
But if it's already says, it says it in 18, chapter 18, what the maximum is for a residential district, why does it have to be added to the section about 1 and 2 family dwellings, just for clarity?
Because you can't enforce the law. When the zoning officer is doing, there's no way, from my understanding, for them to enforce the side of the and this strengthens the ordinance.
But it says it here, where the total width of a residential district is 75 feet or more, the maximum width of all driveways shall not exceed 20 feet in width. That's what they want to add to the other section. And what I'm saying is it's here, so I'm just having trouble figuring out
But
what the distinction is.
in the others,
I understand the adding the second curb cut part of it, because that's not in there yet.
I knew this before I read it. No parking spaces. I know that there was some kind of thing that was missing, and I know the zoning board wanted it to be added by the planning board. The planning board looked at it, and the planning board added it. Exactly where it is, I'd have to go back into my notes.
Yeah, I'm trying
You
to
remember,
remember.
Artie?
Yeah, no, it was such a while ago that I can't remember. I thought it was to strengthen that,
Yeah,
so you could find it in both places, but again, I'd have to look back and I don't remember.
Is that common to put that type of thing in 2 places? I mean, there must be a reason why.
I'm not sure why.
they wanted to put it in 3028 1G. One G4.
That's adding it.
Yeah.
But she applies to 1 and 2 family dwellings, and my question was because it already tells you what the residential is. Maybe it needs to be in land use for the zoning person to enforce it?
I think it's in land use.
But
I can't remember.
does
Yeah,
that make sense, Sean? That
Yeah,
you
Dan
wouldn't be able
Lagana
to,
recommended
you
it.
wouldn't be able to enforce it if it was under the other ordinance.
Or deny it if it wasn't in land use.
You're talking about, Vince?
Yeah.
He doesn't only have jurisdiction over land use, right? So, I mean, if that's his issue.
So this is, because it's not in a zoning ordinance, they
Right.
want to add it to a zoning
Zoning
ordinance.
ordinance, yeah.
Yeah, and this was also recommended by, yeah,
I can't remember.
Okay, we're okay with adding it. After all that.
I'll look back, but it's on my notes,
So
but I just can't.
all three of them, we're going to prepare.
Yes, please.
Now, do you want me to prepare them and send them back to the planning board to make sure it says what they?
Is that the process? You prepare, send it back?
Well, anything that has to do with land use, if we're gonna adopt it, or we're gonna
I
introduce
know,
it,
but
it has to go to them
but what I'm
anyway, they have
saying
to
is,
review it, and
do we
then,
want to make sure that it's what they're asking for before we go through that process?
yeah, I mean, if you wanna send it to me, I can send it to Dan. Is Danny still attorney for the board? Who's the attorney for the board,
the zoning board is Dan,
So I'll send it,
planning board is Arthur Neese.
there's a zoning issue though, so it goes to the zoning board, so I'll send it.
No, but this is coming through the planning board.
Yeah, it is planning board recommendations.
Let's prepare it, send it to them,
Send it to Artie, I guess, if he's a planning board attorney.
sign off on it,
Yeah.
and then we can do it.
Danny's busy, by the way, he had his son on Friday.
I'll be,
Yeah,
new baby.
Congrats.
First,
Second, it's the first Lagana boy of their generation. So like they're like the two brothers. They have four girls, and Joe has 3 girls, and Dan has 1 girl, and now they have.
First boy.
Congratulations.
They're so.
They're so talented.
Yeah.
You got the
This means that being
ball.
recorded, is it?
After this.
Streamed and recorded.
I would say,
Streamed and recorded.
I would.
Okay. Item number 2 is recommendation to rescind parking restrictions administrator.
Yes, so, last year, I think in October, Lieutenant Paisano brought to us, concern from residents about the no parking, I think it was Stockton that day. And, those restrictions were put into place to prevent people who were commuting from parking there all day. And they said, the residents claimed that there was not really an issue with commuter parking, and Justin had suggested that we would rescind that for Stockton and also on Monmouth and Trenton. And at the time when we discussed it before the governing body, the decision was to remove the signs and have it reevaluated to decide to see whether or not there is any problem that arises after removing the signs. And he said that no one other than residents or guests have been parking in these locations. He's perfectly fine with rescinding the ordinance.
We don't have a parking problem at our commuter parking on the dead end of Henley. So there's not going to be anything, 600 yards away from that for the commuter problem. So I would recommend that we go along with that and rescind the commuter restriction.
I agree.
Okay. Schedule updates.
I would just throw this one over.
Yeah. Okay, I only have one item. It is Thursday, February 27th, is Milford's annual Crescent Moonlighting, sponsored by the Milford Public Events Committee. It'll be at 6 p.m. It'll take place on the Borough Hall lawn. And this will also be a food collection event, so anyone attending, all we ask is that you bring a can, a non-perishable food item, and we will donate it to our local food pantry. Are there any other events coming up that I missed for March or April?
Allow me to just say that the rabies clinic on Saturday went beautifully, as it always does. Joan LePage does a great job. Dr. Carberry is wonderful, and everybody else who volunteered was terrific. Dogs, cats, everybody was well behaved. And, people came as far away as Mawa. Most of the people were in Milford, but we did have some residents Bergen County residents from places other than in Milford.
Yeah, it went very well.
It was well done. And thank the DPW for helping us out. They were great.
I have an event to share that people may be interested in. It's not a New Milford Borough event, but the Hackensack River Nation Summit is happening Tuesday, February 25th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Fairleigh Dickinson University Student Union Building. It is being hosted by the Northern New Jersey Community Foundation, and the topic will be the Hackensack River. So there will be people from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to talk about the Hackensack River Superfund site. There will be workshops to discuss cost-effective stormwater management planning. New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and New Jersey Futures will be there. So there'll be a number of people attending, and it's open to public officials, leaders of environmental and community organizations, business leaders, and citizens.
Do you have a digital copy of that by any chance?
Yes.
Can you send it to Matt? Matt, can you send that to the plug committee?
What's it? It's the Hackensack.
River Nation
Great idea.
Summit.
Thank you.
And people can come, it's from 10 to 6, and people can come for the entire day, or they can come for part of it. So it's open.
Excellent.
And there will be food.
Thank you.
Thank
you. So,
Okay. Item number 4 is the administrator's report.
Mr. Mayor, not a long report. As far as the 2025 budgets, we're meeting with individual departments in the next couple of weeks to go over their budget requests. We're still waiting on some information from the tax assessor that he has to finalize due to the reval, because people get it's a little bit of a longer lead time before it has to be completed when you're doing the revaluation. So we don't have hard numbers yet, but we did ask Steve to drop some numbers into the budget worksheet so that we could just have an idea of what we're aiming for. And miraculously, we got our number from the BCA earlier than ever.
Wow.
That means it's a little lower.
February?
Unfortunately, it's $58,000 more than it was last year.
wow.
So, but you know what? Usually I'm beating on their door to try and get it before we introduce our budget. So it's helpful to have it and know what we're up against.
Chris, I was looking at the budget book recently, and I noticed that there are several boards and committees that haven't, well, they're not included in that book. You gotten updates?
The people who I haven't heard from, I've taken the liberty of putting in the requests for them. There weren't very many, and one of them is a familiar committee, which has a pretty stable budget, so we knew what we needed there, and I put in that request. Nobody gets left out.
I just want to go back to the BCA thing. So every year the number comes out and it's more than we like. So was it 2 years ago? We had enough, and we actually asked them for the audit. So like a week or so later, they sent us this huge document that outlined everything, and damn it, the numbers matched. It was on par with exactly what they said the increase was. And so I don't want anyone to think that we just take it with a grain of salt, that this is the number, but we actually went through that process and it was exact. So.
Another item of housekeeping, currently our June public session is scheduled for June 23rd. There are actually 5 Mondays in June, and I spoke to the mayor about potentially moving the public session from the 23rd to the 30th, especially since we only have 1 meeting in July. Well, it's a choice between you or me. So.
That or you.
When is the July meeting?
The July meeting is for
The end of
We'll do it on July 5th this year, we think.
It's a Friday.
July, it's
I'm
like
gonna be
usually
away,
around.
What are we doing
here?
the June public session is going to be on June 30th as opposed to June 23rd. And the July meeting is on the 28th.
Perfect.
My thing is we should keep it on the 23rd. You know, might want to go away that week, on July 4th.
We're moving.
Okay.
Bill Rupp might be covering that meeting, just so you know, it's a seat home. Oh, let's go for I'm going to golf at. I'm a past president, because I have to go.
Yeah, you got it. Also, June 23rd is also the DEO graduation.
Yes.
And on Tuesday, the 24th, is high school graduation, so we will not be having a meeting on the 23rd.
Okay,
Well, you'll be at the graduation event, so
And we'll have one meeting in July, and that's the 28th.
I cannot miss the high school graduation this year.
And
Nope.
next on the list, Borough Hall is closed this coming Monday, February 17th, in observance of President's Day. And our next meeting of Mayor and Council is a public session scheduled for Monday, February 24th. And that's it for me, Mayor. Thank you very much.
The only thing I'm going to add to this is, on Saturday, I was contacted by the New Milford Elks. They wanted to do a little quick impromptu, they wanted to donate $5,000 to our social services department.
oh, nice.
So, I accepted it on behalf of the mayor and council, and I'm turning it over to you to give this to Jennifer.
Wow.
Milford Elks?
Yes.
That's really nice.
Awesome.
And for what?
Social services. Yeah, I was at the rabies clinic, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm like 500 feet away. Let me stop by. And this is what they did. I said, well, you know,
That's very nice.
I would have noticed. I would have dressed nicer, but apparently they couldn't make it. The exalted ruler could not make it tonight, so they wanted to get it done, and they have to have it done by X amount of time for national.
Wow.
So thank you, the Milford Teen Academic Squad.
Very
nice.
Very nice.
Okay, resolutions. Is there any that need to be pulled for further discussion and or vote?
Yes, Mayor, 2025:83, please.
Okay, I'm gonna pull that one. Any others? If not, then at this time I ask for a motion to open to the public.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any questions or comments regarding the good and welfare of the borough of Milford, now is the opportunity to come forward. All we ask is for your name and address. Seeing that no member of the public wishes to come forward, I ask for a motion to close the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to adopt resolution 2025:73 through 2025:82?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to approve resolution 2025:83?
Motion.
Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Let's call it for discussion.
He just wants to recuse himself.
Councilwoman Sandhusen.
Yes.
Councilman Zalman.
Yes.
Council President Duffy.
Yes.
Councilman Grotzky.
Yes.
Councilman Seymour.
Abstain.
Councilwoman Grant.
Yes.
I just also, before we end, I just wanted to once again thank the DPW for the great job they did with our recent snowstorms. We're calculating maybe 3 more in the next week and a half. Any kind of combination of snow, sleet, ice, rain, whatever. But whatever it is, they're going to be on top of it. So I just wanted to once again thank them. Is there anything else?
I have a question.
Sure.
I don't want to make a big deal out of this. Has anybody heard any chatter about raising chickens in town?
Yes.
There's always chatter about
There's
chickens.
been chattering about.
Well, it's up to chatter again recently, I believe.
They should,
Do we have an ordinance pertaining to that?
they have to go to the Board of Health. Board of Health has a jurisdiction on that.
'Cause I tried to find one and I
It's
didn't.
under Board of Health.
Board of Health code.
What are you
Board of Health?
trying to find? The ordinance?
Oh, yeah, regarding raising chickens, the raising of chickens. Because it's up for
You
chatter
going into
again.
business?
No, not me, because I believe egg prices are coming down, that's what I heard.
Right now they're going up.
I heard that somewhere in October or April of last year or something.
They've been going up since then.
Yeah, but I heard they were coming down. Somebody told me that.
That would
I
be
don't
nice,
know.
but I don't think that's accurate.
But no, I just wanted to know if you
You
heard
can direct anyone
that.
to the Board of Health. Anyone who has questions about.
Yes.
prohibition of-
From time
Okay.
to time, the Board of Health does have
Do-
members
You
of
did
do-
on a number of different occasions.
Do we permit it?
Yeah,
No,
No.
we don't.
it's
We
not
don't permit it.
permitted.
No.
in.
No chicken coops, no raising of chickens, none whatsoever?
Correct.
Huh? Okay.
It's just how the board voted. It's
No, because
been
I
in
know
place
some
so
towns in
long.
Bergen County allow it.
There was some, I mean, the health officer had some comments on it as well, I think at the
Yes.
last round of this discussion.
Yes, yes.
We discussed this several years ago. It came up
About
as an issue, 2-3 years ago,
It-
maybe? I think it was
it's-
longer ago than that, actually.
But
Or-
it's every.
or-
I know there's some
every
towns in Bergen
year.
County that permit it.
It comes up every once in
It does.
I was wondering how you can refute it,
a few.
just by putting it as an ordinance saying no. I mean, if people allow it,
In the past,
what's our reason that say no?
They've cited health reasons, they've cited,
Noise.
noise.
But if other
traffic.
towns say it's okay, what's our reason says it's not okay?
Maybe
Listen, I'm just asking
You'll
questions.
have to review the Board of Health
Yeah.
minutes, because it's been
Yeah.
discussed.
It's literally, it's like, it's a town by town decision, and it's really a judgment call, because there's gonna be opinions from people. I mean, we dealt with it for years in Teaneck. There are opinions from people that come in saying it's wonderful and it promotes, the environment, and it's healthier to eat the homegrown eggs. And there's other people that are gonna come in and say exactly what you just heard, like that they're rats, like coyotes go,
Right.
attract, or other foxes, like those
Mhm.
kind of animals. And then, that it's also loud. There's no ways, because, if you have a rooster, which most of our
And
hens,
they're
they're
usually not allowed at home.
But yeah, because the roosters will wake you up and they crack a bill. If you've ever been
But
to a
I
farm
would
with a rooster,
say, with
Well,
the,
they make noise all day long. But we already have fox, so it's
already
not a big deal.
my
Not in the
guess,
backyard.
with the high incidence of the bird flu in chickens, I doubt very much the Board of Health will budge on that.
Listen,
But
I'm just asking
Anyone
questions.
is welcome to come.
Actually, you should get the minutes from, their reasoning, their decision. This way, if anyone asks you, what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah, just curious.
Joe could probably help you pin down when. the
I'm not
last
farming.
discussion was.
Yes.
I'm not raising chickens. I just heard some chatter, and I just wanted to know in case it comes up one night at a meeting, when the public comes and says, I want to raise chickens, why
Go to the
can't
Board
I?
of Health, that's the answer.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Anyone?
I just have quick, I've been thinking about this, for a couple of months now. I wanted to bring this up, after all of our January business was tended to. Regarding our council liaison reports, now that a couple of things have come, the mayor gives a very full report of all activities and scheduled events, and that goes into the minutes. And the fact that we are recording our meetings, and it's accessible to so many, I would like to talk about maybe just giving a short report at each meeting, rather than file a full council report written. So I'd like to talk about it and see what you guys think.
You want to add that to the agenda? Do we have to add that topic to the agenda before we discuss it?
We're past new business, then, yeah.
Yeah, so we could add it, right?
Sure. Oh, okay.
So, should I ask for a motion to add it to the next one?
Mhm.
Making a motion to add Randy's topic about council committee reports to the next agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's the first thing we add to the agenda.
Public or what?
Yeah, we can add to the public meeting, and we'll put it under,
Okay, I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I did.
Randy.
Archie?
Can I make a second?
Okay.
item number
That's
one,
my notes.
liaison reports.
You have to read them.
Okay, if there's no other business for this
These are
council,
not
can I get a motion to
initial.
adjourn?
Motion.
He didn't read
Second.
them yet.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Where's your minutes?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and
You have
please
to hand them this.
be careful with the upcoming weather.
I'm not taking.